I'm smoking in front of the building.
Welcome, guys, to Culture Copia podcast. My name is Robert, and with me is Matt and Greg and Nate. Today, we are going to cover some new topics, current topics.
Yeah, a few things happened.
Yeah. We got the bridge collapse that's going on right now.
Yeah.
We got the thing going on with P Diddy.
Yeah, and the whole Nickelodeon. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, that's...
So, big moves on our end right now, though.
Yeah.
First video.
Right.
And, so a little bit of background, if you don't mind, Rob.
No, please, go ahead.
Quickly, just in case anyone's jumping on the ship, at the moment. So, about a year ago now, maybe?
Yeah, right around that. It was like April or May of last year, I think.
I came to Rob. Well, okay, we'll go before that. I've known Rob for maybe 11 years or so.
About that.
A little over a decade. And every time we get together, we talk about movies, music, video games, what have you. And for a while, I've been kind of thinking, like, look, I do this with all my friends. It's no different than, a lot of the conversations I'm hearing on the shows that I listen to. It'd be cool to start a podcast. So I came to Rob and I was like, yeah, man, I really want to do a podcast. It's this new thing, Yeah. No, we're just jumping on the ship everybody else is on right now.
There was an SNL skit about that. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but it's like they shut down podcasting and the guy's like, I can't get on there and say whatever I want.
Right. So we did a season, a whole first season, just Rob and myself. And if you want to listen to that entire season, it's on Spotify. We do have a couple episodes from season 1 on all platforms. When we started up another season, we took a little break, and I said, hey, I've got this friend, and you already knew him, but I mean, right. I've known Greg for, it's got to be about 15 years now.
Yeah, it's like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm like, his interests kind of aligned with ours, and I bet he would love to come on, and he did, and it was great. We had a little more interaction. It still kind of felt like we were missing maybe a little bit of something, and we did an episode about AI. And we brought Nate in as a guest because he's very well versed, and Nate and Rob have known each other for a while.
Yeah, for about 8 or 9 years. How long have you and Allison been together?
10 years.
So it's been about that
because I moved back here about 10 years ago, and that's when you and I ended up hanging out because she was good friends with Tori, and still is good friends with Tori, and then you and I ended up hanging out and started connecting over music at one point.
Right. Yeah. Right. So again, that common denominator, that thing that kind of brought us all together, and that bond that we keep is that that pop culture connection. Right. And having Nate in here just felt right. He had a good time and wanted to come on full time.
With having Nate, Nate already kind of did this stuff for like videos for Bunny Gun. Nate and I, a little history on us. We were doing virtual reality game development, and I was like his audio director for that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then I think Nate was like, I was over at your house for Halloween.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is that what we've seen at the Science Center? That's that whole collaboration there?
Yeah, that's one of the few games. We did quite a few. We did 5 or 6, didn't we?
We did a bunch of stuff with the Science Center. That was a couple of different things put together. That arcade cabinet was one thing, and then that video was like another thing.
Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was over there at Nate's house, and he was like showing me his new setup, and he's kind of got a little recording setup at his house, and he was like, I'm kind of thinking about doing a podcast, and I was like, Nate, you should come over to the house. I was not planning on having you come out anyway to cover some AI stuff for us, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then it came out, and it just like went from there. It was like really comfortable, real like easy fit
right in.
Yeah. So
and definitely brought some knowledge and expertise that kind of culminated into what we're doing right now, and that was kind of the birth of Culture Copia Productions.
Yeah.
As it were. So and now we're again, like I said, this is a big step for us. So
So welcome, guys. Today, we're going to cover current topics. So I don't know if I said that before, but the bridge collapse, P Diddy, Billy Joel's new song.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Matt, why don't we kick it off? You've been following that bridge collapse a little bit because I've been glued to it.
Yeah, I actually I have a friend whose family lives out in Baltimore.
Oh yeah.
And so it's kind of affected them. I don't think they knew anybody that was fortunately anyone who was there and injured, but yeah, it's it's kind of a scary thing. It just kind of goes to show you, it's you never know what's going to happen. I mean, even with all the technology and stuff we have these days, things can just kind of go haywire. And
yeah,
right.
Yeah. Have you guys all seen the video?
Yeah.
Of it hitting?
Yeah.
So you see it lose power.
You see it lose
right?
power.
Oh, yes.
And then the power comes back on.
It shuts off and comes back on
and
like
then
2
shuts
or
off
3
again.
times.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and people are like, it's terrorism and it's this and that. And I'm like, no, that's not terrorism. And
No.
you can
Right.
actually see after it shuts off and comes back on, you can see the generators. You can see the smoke.
The big black smoke plume
coming out of it. And that's
right.
that's those backup generators firing up, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
So they did everything that they could. Just based on that video, I think you could tell.
But there is a lot of conspiracy coming out.
A whole lot.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, with
absolutely.
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
anything.
They can't fucking believe the truth that's in front of them, but they'll believe the most wildest
Yeah.
conspiracy
I
that's
think
out there.
I think it's crazy that it was just the construction worker. Like, they had the bridge shut down to traffic.
Yeah.
You know, at that time, like, that's insanely lucky.
Yeah.
Insanely
That
lucky.
there was no
Almost
traffic.
Statistically improbable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's kind of where you get some of those theories coming in, like, well, why was it shut down? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, who knows,
That's a
man?
pretty
Yeah,
good
it's
theory.
Well, I seen a thing too. I didn't watch the video. I really should have, but it was a video of can you really lose steering with the power if the power shuts off from those ships?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't watch the video, so I don't know what they said or what kind of angle they were kind of going for.
I watched something, and they actually kind of recreated the whole scenario in like a simulator.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, yes, if they lose power, they lose absolutely everything.
And that's what I figure.
Life support systems, pumps, everything, right?
Right.
And they said there was, from the first Mayday till the time the bridge collapsed, was like a minute and a half, or it was they sent out a Mayday and it was a minute and a half by the time they got that bridge shut down to traffic.
Okay.
So it was like everything that they're looking at with the pilots and everything, they did everything they could.
Yeah.
Here's what's messed up about this. The company that owns that shipping is saying, oh no, we're not at fault. We're asking you to cap our liability at $43 million.
Yeah.
Now, this is common for companies like this, like shipping companies. The railroad, the train explosion last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's common practice.
That was Ohio.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where these companies go in and they're like, we're asking you to limit our liability to, whatever, right? So, but here's the thing. Your ship, obviously, if you can prove, I guess I'll put it this way, if you can prove that your ship was well maintained, well inspected, right? Then yeah, I could believe that. It was an act of God. It was an accident,
Right.
These things happen, okay?
Yeah.
But if you can't prove that your ship was in good, standing, workable order and everything like that, you got a lot of fucking balls
Now, I did
to
see,
say limit my liability to $43 million.
I did see a report saying, it was from the Coast Guard saying that ship had an inspection before it left port.
Yeah.
And that it passed all inspections, like the ship, the engine, whatever, all the power systems
I saw a
were
video
working.
of that same ship losing power just not too long ago, maybe a year or 6 months ago.
The same ship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it hit a dock.
Well, that's kind of like the whole Titanic.
Really?
thing.
I didn't hear anything about that. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a thing about the Titanic where like it originally had like twice as many lifeboats and like these other safety features that they stripped down, just because like a lot of it was just because of like aesthetics. They were just like, oh, it doesn't look nice.
That could be.
Okay.
I know that the designer had designed it for a lot more lifeboats than.
I'll tell you this.
That's what I
Dan,
mean,
Dan
yeah.
Cummins has a good time suck podcast
about the Titanic. Yeah, I think I've listened to that one. Yeah,
really good.
Yeah,
a lot of info.
No, I think
shout out to
what was it? The White Star, the White Star Line, or something. White Star Shipping, I think, is the name of the people that. Now, I think maybe they took those designs and said, we're going to save some money, you know,
right?
And we're not going to put that many lifeboats in it or whatever. But I mean, I think that was the case. I think it was originally designed for it.
Yeah,
but.
So you have some things.
Luckily, only four people died. You know, it could have been a lot worse. Hearts go out to the 4 immigrant workers. By the way, I have to throw that out there too.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Dude, you're sitting on a bridge.
They were in a pickup on their break.
On lunch break, man, and then boom.
And then the bridge falls on top of your vehicle that you're in.
Yeah.
And you're in wow.
It's
That would be an insanely scary way to go.
And they say that the video and photos don't do it justice. The scale, you know, they were saying each shipping container is the size of a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
Trailer on a tractor trailer.
Oh yeah.
So it's just
53
enormous.
foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's also they're trying to politicize it, and it's like, come on.
Well, we got the election coming up in November, so. Do we know what was on the ship?
I do know.
I thought I had heard a report saying what was on the ship.
Yeah, they should have a good itinerary. They have a good idea. They do know that there is some hazardous materials on it.
I heard it was ballot slips.
Right. It's too early for that.
It's the bamboo-free ballot slips from China. Yeah, so we're dealing with that. And then, you guys, has anybody stayed on top of the Diddy thing? Like, do you guys know what's going on with that? 'Cause
I haven't really. I heard there's a 75-page list or report that names a lot of names.
Yeah.
Nate? What were you saying, Nate?
I think we should back this up. What happened with Diddy? Someone tell me what is going on with P Diddy right now, because I've heard it from a lot of different sources, a lot of different perspectives. Let's go ahead and sum it up for the audience. What we even think happened with
I know I heard rape charges.
Sexual or human trafficking, or like sex trafficking.
Yeah.
Jesus.
See, most of what I've read, and that doesn't mean that there's not other things out there, but a lot of what I'm seeing, there was a lot of. I'm not trying to discount, any other information, but I know that there was a lot of situations of like quid pro quo and like some sexual harassment stuff where he was like, "Hey, I'll sign you if you do this thing for me."
Right.
A lot of it was men, a lot of it was young men. I even heard some like Justin Bieber.
I heard Justin Bieber and Usher.
Yeah. So
Usher.
So it's kind of like a gatekeeping scenario in some of it, where it's like, unless you do these favors for me, I'm not going to put you on, the course of success here.
Essentially, but there's been a lot of other things, Well,
they've said too, like parties he would have.
Some parties that
were just lots of weird stuff going on,
especially with underage.
Yeah.
Males and females, I believe.
Yeah, everyone's calling him the diddler.
Yeah.
Because he's been diddling little boys' booty holes.
Yeah.
I've also seen like the hashtag "Did he do it?"
Yeah, did he do it?
Did he do it?
Do I diddy?
Did he dumb? Did he do? Fuck. But and all of this kind of happens at the same time as well, and we see this a lot, like when the Me Too movement back in when was that? 2017.
I think so.
Something like that. Of course, this is coinciding with the Nickelodeon. Have you guys seen any of the documentary?
I haven't seen any.
I've seen a lot of stuff on TikTok.
I started watching
TikTok decides that this is the kind of thing it needs to show me. Like, I haven't once in my life searched for P Diddy's news or Nickelodeon.
Well, it's trending.
But between like the food videos and all this other stuff, it's like, boom.
What's that documentary called? Quiet on the Set?
Yeah.
Quiet on Set. I've actually been following this story for a couple years now, because that was around the time, I think, Jeanette McCurdy from iCarly and Sam and Cat, which those were a little after my time. So they're definitely after you guys' time, because you guys are older than me. But she released a book, like a sort of a memoir, and I think
I Hate My Mom.
Yeah. It was, I'm glad my mom died.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm glad my mom died. So she obviously had a sordid past with her, but she brings up Dan Schneider, who was the executive producer on a lot of those shows. Drake and Josh, The Amanda Show, and then some things moving forward, like I mentioned, iCarly, Sam and Cat, a few other things. That was actually his production company, Schneider's Bakery. And there were some allegations kind of thrown out there that maybe he had some inappropriate relationships with, certain child actors. Amanda Bynes was mentioned specifically. That's a real big one. Also, Britney Spears' sister, Jamie Lynn Spears.
Oh, yeah.
There have been some rumors about that, although I didn't really see any of that. Not a whole lot of that in the docuseries, but yeah.
Nate, you're around my age.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
You remember watching any of those like old school Nickelodeon shows?
A lot of the ones that are mentioned are a little bit past my time.
I was thinking that's the same for me too. It wasn't like
I grew up on Nickelodeon. Yeah.
So we did too.
Nickelodeon was like cartoons.
It wasn't
Dare,
until like the
Mark
late
Summers.
early '90s, middle of the '90s,
Early
late
90s, we got all that.
You started getting like teen reality.
Yeah, the teen stuff,
short.
I
like,
didn't catch a lot of that.
Yeah, so it just wasn't my thing,
Yeah. Interesting that you brought up Mark Summers. A little tidbit about that. He is in that documentary.
Yeah.
Briefly. And
for good reasons or
good, yeah,
Good,
they
like-
were just interviewing him.
right.
They were interviewing a lot of people.
They showed him that one. What's her face's Ariana Grande segment where she's milking a potato.
Yeah,
And the clip that I saw
Yeah.
was him being like, "This was allowed on Nickelodeon."
yeah.
right.
Like he was just like dumbfounded.
Well,
right.
But my thing is, it's like, how do you not know? Like I guess maybe
Well,
you
he
don't watch the
wasn't-
shows or something.
he
like that?
wasn't on the network at that time.
Oh, this was after his time.
Yeah, because
Okay.
he was back, like you mentioned, Double Dare and things like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of before Dan Schneider was really around. Maybe he was like working on all that. That might have been the first thing that Dan Schneider was kind of, but nobody really knew what was going on. They weren't really putting that kind of content out there.
Yeah.
But Mark Summers, an interesting kind of story I just read about that is, so you only see him briefly in the first episode of the docuseries, and I kind of wondered, I was like, where'd he go? He didn't really weigh in on anything else. Well, evidently, he walked out because the producers of that docuseries, and I'm glad that they made it. I'm not, not kind of shitting on them.
I think I heard about
But
this.
they didn't really tell him what it was about. They were just like, hey, we want to talk about the old days Nickelodeon. He was like, cool, I'd be happy to do that. And then they started showing him all these disturbing videos of like, hey, this is the content they've been putting out. And he's like, what kind of documentary is this?
Right.
And then when they told him, he was like, I don't want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I don't.
Interesting
I
that
don't-
they still used his footage.
Well,
Yeah, well, I'm sure he
I'm
probably
sure they had
signed a
permission,
release.
Yeah. I could understand to an extent, but it really kind of looks bad
I thought the same
Yeah.
thing, but
that you just like get up in the mid conversation.
then
and you're
again,
like,
you also kind of have to look at it, especially
maybe he doesn't want his likeness or image associated with
That's what I mean.
anything
Right.
about that.
That's
so
what I
that could be it too.
mean,
It's understandable.
I would understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the way that things spread, we kind of talked about, like Nate said, I'm not sure why TikTok has decided, the algorithm has decided to show me this stuff, and you're like, well, it's trending. They just put it in your face, and it's, for better or for worse, I'm not going to argue it, but, it is, it is unfortunate that once you're associated, it's like, okay, now you're part of it. And if you want to distance yourself, then more power to you.
I could also see the end side of it too, where it's like, if I had known that this was going to be the topic, I would have prepared myself and would have had
Absolutely.
a plan to say something. But in spur of the moment, you get slip of the tongue and you say one little thing that you
Right.
did not, or was taken the wrong way, or it's out of context.
Right.
Well, because
If you didn't have any planning for it,
exactly. Well, look at it this way: if he hadn't found out that early on, and they're just kind of talking to him about, hey, like, what do you think of Dan Schneider?
Right.
And without him knowing that all this inappropriate
Like,
stuff
he's
was
a great
going
guy.
on, yeah, his only experience might have been passing in the hallway, saying hey to him, having a
Right.
word, bonding over a sports team or a musical artist they both like, and just be like, yeah, I enjoyed working with Dan. And then they're like, oh, look at Mark Summers is like best friends with Dan Schneider, and
Right.
yeah. Then you're
Where you
wrapped
don't
up in
even-
this-
yeah.
Exactly.
Not even really associated with them,
Yeah.
but now you are.
Yeah, that's you got to watch yourself in this
Yeah.
world. So
It's easy. It's easy to prove someone guilty.
Mm-hmm.
It's harder to prove your innocence.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
You know?
it is harder. than-
Absolutely.
So I could see taking precautions.
You
to,
know what
like,
really gets me though is
What throttles your crankshaft?
what throttles. Well, that's in the next segment. What gets me is you had the guy before. What was Dan Schneider's predecessor's name? The guy who actually went to jail.
No,
for
he was
18 months or whatever the fuck.
No,
it was.
that guy was a.
the producer, dude.
No, he was like a cinematographer or some sort of coordinator on those shows.
The one that molested
Brian
Drake
Peck.
Bell.
Brian Peck.
Brian Peck. Okay, so you had the situation with him, right? And the guy ended up going to jail for 18 months or whatever ridiculous amount
Which
it
is
was.
a bullshit.
It was.
sentence.
It was.
Just awful.
And then Dan Schneider comes in, and nobody is regulating this content. And it's
Yeah.
not like content where it's like over the top or over kids' heads.
Right.
It's really sexualized. It's like it's cringy.
A lot of
Right.
the Ariana Grande stuff you were talking
Yeah.
about, it's hard to watch.
It's extremely
Considering
difficult
her
to watch.
age
Correct.
and the age of the viewers. Hard to watch.
Yeah.
There was even that guy Brian Peck even played a character on All That called Pickle Boy, where he would walk around with this big tray of pickles and he would like, that was like I guess he was crafty. He was like the head of catering and he was just like pickles, but he didn't speak. And they even showed a clip of I think it was Ray Romano was like the guest host or whatever, and he was stuck inside a room and the knob fell off and Pickle Boy's just feeding pickles through the hole. And it very much looks like a glory hole.
Right.
And pickles being fed through.
Oh, no.
I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just. And Tori's like, "You watch this," and I'm like, "No, I don't. I
Yeah.
don't." And then I took a break from working on the studio, and I went up there and then I started watching. It was like, ugh.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the Dahmer tapes
Oh yeah.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't want to watch it,
But
I couldn't help
right.
but watch
Your curiosity gets
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like I was equally like, I don't want to do this, and equally like, holy shit,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know.
Awful. But yeah, I mean, and then of course, like to kind of circle back, the whole stuff with Diddy. I did see a video recently where he met up with Justin Bieber and he's kind of feeling on his torso like this, and it looks like he's checking him for a wire. So now I'm not saying that was the case, but given the allegations and everything else surrounding,
Well, they say he recorded everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like all these like orgies, and he's got. They say he recorded. Yeah, did he?
Well, I think a lot of this for him is probably about power too.
Yeah.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
That's
I mean,
that's what a
instead of
lot of
half
it
of
is,
this
always is with these fucking people. It's like,
Who was it? I think it was like Oscar Wilde or somebody, if I'm misquoting him, said everything in the world is about sex except for sex, which is about power.
Yeah.
And when I hear the
think
Diddy
it was
stuff, I
Oscar.
think, there's probably some of that just, Diddy likes what he likes, but I think a lot of that might have been about gatekeeping and power.
oh, it absolutely
so-
is. It is.
I could see where he
You're
recorded
shutting the
everything.
studio down.
be
I
able
mean,
to
you're
pull
pathetic.
that
You're a
tape out and be like,
multimillionaire.
well, I got
You can
leverage.
pull any kind of woman you want,
Yeah.
and you decide that you're gonna molest boys and mess with men.
Yeah.
Like I
Right.
don't understand it. Like,
Right.
I guess you reach a point in your life and successful when you have anything and everything you want.
You
That
got
it's
to
like-
push boundaries.
Is that the boundary
Right.
that you start pushing? Is it like a more it's got to be more psychological than anything.
I don't know. It all kind of reminds me. It takes me back to the whole.
What happened to
Kevin-
just doing hard drugs?
Well, that was part of it too. Like one of the things that they said was he had people working for him, and their only job was to walk around his estate with drugs in their hands, so that when he was within like any kind of drug he wanted within arm's reach. At
Yeah,
any
but
given
I
time.
don't doubt that that's the case for a lot of very famous.
No,
and talented-
actually, that
yeah,
sounds
yeah.
kind of legit. Like, hey man,
mean-
hey Gardner, let me get one of them joints from you real quick.
Exactly.
You
Yeah,
know,
I was
like,
gonna-
I don't want to go into my
I
house.
mean,
and,
there's rappers that have like blunt rollers on staff. Like,
Yeah,
this guy
right.
gets
Absolutely.
CK, he goes
Right.
on tour, he gets all the food, and job rolling blunts.
No, I can
They're
wrap-
probably a banger of a blunt.
Yeah.
I can wrap my head
60K to have
around
that
that.
blunt on command. That's the
Apparently,
kind of
Snoop
power
Dogg's
at that
makes
level.
like $50,000 a year.
Yeah, there you go.
his blunt roller.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
I thought his blunt roller was Martha Stewart.
Well, now, yeah.
I'm glad you brought up Snoop Dogg in all this because I even made the joke. Admittedly, maybe a in somewhat poor taste, but I did tell Rob recently. I was like, "See, man, I've always fucked them West Coast rappers. Them East Side boys are just a little off, man. Just a little off."
With the exception of Nate.
Don't go.
Okay, yeah.
The East Coast rap scene. Come on now.
I don't know.
By that mention, let's look at like what 50 Cent and them are saying about this guy.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot of people who called him out way ahead of time.
That's very
as far as
true.
East Coast rapping goes. Although,
Very true.
I mean, 50 did eventually. He's West now, but
Yeah.
anyway. Long story short, careful with that shit.
No, obviously I'm generalizing, and
Sure.
it's a terrible situation. I'm kind of taken back to the Kevin Spacey situation where he, a lot of those allegations that came forward were from young underage boys, or at least they were at the time.
Yeah.
And
I'll be honest with you, that didn't really surprise me with someone like Kevin Spacey because he's
it didn't surprise me. If anything, in that situation did surprise me, it was the way he
doubled
addressed
down
it
and
sort of tried to sidestep and was like,
victim blaming.
And he was sort of like, "Oh, hey, by the way, this is true. I'm gay," and we're just like, "That's not the part we care about."
Right.
Nobody cares that you like men. It's that you like underage boys.
Right.
And very much tried to sidestep the like, "Oh yeah, sorry everybody that I've been living this lie and I'm gay." We don't care. You could be gay, Kevin Spacey, and you would have been our wonderful gay actor that we all loved and was just like, look at him living his life. But no, there's a whole. I think you see a lot of that, and again, like you said, with people they get to a certain level of power, and it's like, I
watched this interview with Corey Feldman.
Okay, yeah,
and this was probably back in the late '90s or so. But they're asking him. Because I guess that was like right after the Michael Jackson trials and all that finished up. But he was talking about like that happens a lot in Hollywood.
Well, he was a victim of.
He was a victim, and he was just talking about like like pretty much everywhere you turn, someone in Hollywood is doing something like this, and
yeah,
he even said like he went to the sheriff's department out there in L.A. or whatever and told them, made a report, gave them list of names and stuff. Like nothing gets done about that.
No.
But the interviewer asked him like, well, what'd you do about that? And he's like, well, that's when he said, he made the list but he's like, why is that on me?
Right.
He's like, why is it on me he's like, there's tons of people in Hollywood that have the same list of names that I do. But everybody's just too scared to turn someone in or, make a report on somebody. But apparently, like, I don't know, he seemed really believable in that interview. Like, and like he said, he was a victim of it. But again, like, they were asking him about Michael Jackson because that was, I guess, the thing. And he's like, Michael Jackson was the innocent one.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, there's tons of other people that did way worse things than just hanging out with kids.
I was gonna say, what was Michael Jackson, hanging out with young kids, like and kind of being a grown child himself? Was that a strange situation? Absolutely,
right.
But yeah, I've heard and watched a lot of videos and read a lot of things about people who had experiences at Neverland Ranch and and they're like, nah, nothing like really like that happened.
Yeah, it was pretty much just like a carnival.
Yeah,
at his house.
Yeah, and is that strange? Yeah.
Yeah,
right, absolutely.
Sure. I'll be honest though, I saw that documentary on Michael Jackson, and they had that one guy who came forward, and I believed him, man. His story was very convincing.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah.
I think the whole Michael Jackson, that's a whole other topic in itself. But, just like the lead in from that into like everything else that's coming out now in Hollywood,
Well, you've got you have these celebrities who, some of them are like, they're in the spotlight all the time and they're posting on social media and they're doing all this stuff. And people are like, God, I'm so tired of seeing them and hearing them and all. And it's like, but you know what? At least they're documenting their life and we know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Jack Black's a great example of that, where it's just like, yeah, man, like, are you tired of seeing him on TikTok? Sure,
No, the
maybe.
answer's no.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
right.
No.
But it's like he's spending so much time doing this, and he's in front of the camera and interacting with fans, and it's like, at least I'm not going to say that we know for sure he's not doing anything nefarious behind the scenes, but it's like it seems like he has a lot less time than
Right.
some of these celebrities that are a bit more reclusive.
Well, you make a
and
good
it's
point about P Diddy. When was the last time he had a hit? You know what I'm
what's he
saying?
been doing? Yeah,
what's he been doing with his life?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Drinking Cambodian breast milk.
A lot of that's been coming out too with that Chappelle skit, and it's like, man, Chappelle knew that Diddy was kind of whacked.
Yeah.
Right.
Like even back in the day, like
Yeah.
he knew Diddy was a little off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that skit where he's carrying Diddy around. Diddy's ordering. It wasn't Making the Band was popular at the time.
Yeah.
And Diddy was, because I saw Making of the Band, the television show, a little bit, and Diddy's yelling at everybody, and it's like maybe 6:30 in the morning. All the producers are sleeping. He's like, "Man, y'all need to get up.
Yeah.
I'm up. I'm dressed. I'm working. I'm a millionaire, and you're sleeping. Get
Yeah.
up. You're going to Brooklyn." And he made them all walk to Brooklyn to get him cheesecake. It's like one slice of cheesecake. And this is like maybe a tiny example of the power play stuff we're talking about.
Yeah.
This man's mentality.
Now I get the Chappelle Show skit.
And so the Chappelle Show, Diddy's being carried around by so nice little tie-in there.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think we're going to move on to some more lightning. Lighter topics.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Jack Black, have you guys heard the Tenacious D cover of "Baby One More Time"?
No.
No.
Yeah, I think you sent it to us.
Maybe.
It was like him singing with his buddy. He's wearing like
him and Kyle Gass. Yeah. And
Okay.
That thing was a phenomenon.
Dude, and it's just like, man, like it just kind of shows he still got it. And even like, so Amy, my wife, she likes Jack Black somewhat, but like he kind of gets on her nerves, and she's like, I don't know. And I even sent that to her, and she was like, okay, that was actually really good. Like, I don't want to admit it, but that was really good.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
there's reaction videos.
Wherever your business needs to show up, Vistaprint can.
Whoa. Shout out to Vistaprint.
Yeah. Well, I ordered some of the star mugs and stuff from Vistaprint, so it's
very nice.
yeah. Now
Soon
you're
on the
gonna see.
website.
Very nice. Do you have a Rob? You have a clip of?
I got a clip coming up.
Okay,
of
yeah,
it.
absolutely. No, let's at least hear a little bit of it.
Oh, baby, how was I supposed to know
I love it already.
that something
what I'm
wasn't
saying.
right? Oh, baby,
He looks so great, dude. I love this.
I'm way too much for this.
And now you're out of sight. Yeah, show me how you want it to be. Tell me,
probably-
baby, 'cause
You don't want to get algorithmically banned for this.
right. Yeah, so I won't
They're gonna
play
be
much,
short.
Yeah. But it
Oh, that's great.
God, it's great.
Yeah,
It's so good.
It's so Jack Black too.
Like it's crazy that I think it's fun. I mean, you take these songs and artists that don't belong together, and it's
Right.
Yeah. Well, the dark side of that. I don't want to say dark side, but I didn't care for it. Have you heard Beyonce's like country?
Yeah.
Music.
I
I heard her cover Jolene.
Yeah, it was all right.
I didn't like it.
You know, like
Oh, okay. I heard about that.
I didn't like
haven't
the
heard it, though.
the Jolene song. She's just singing. She's got a good voice, but
Yeah, but I didn't like the arrangement of that.
yeah.
It really was like, so she's got the one song that like that blew up, the Texas Hold'em or whatever it is.
I don't know.
Yeah, this ain't Texas. Yeah, that whole that was okay. Whatever, had a bouncy beat to it, a little bit of a country twang, I guess, but it was still sort of like country pop, So it's not like it's.
I mean, that's
not
what
like
country is too now.
Well, she hasn't, Alan Jackson gone country fully.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but she did her thing, and I'm not
Look at
going to
them
knock her for it. Yeah.
well, imagine if she did go full on gone country. I think she would lose some kind of legitimacy. You know what I mean? Like she's taking it and she's kind of making it her own style.
Oh, absolutely.
well, see, with Dolly Parton putting out that rock album,
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's still got the Dolly Parton like kind of country
That's true.
vibe, in it. You can still hear it, but I mean, it's a rock song.
It's just, I guess, me personally.
Yeah. Well,
I prefer Dolly Parton to to Beyonce.
I do too, but it's just
I didn't
more my style more than anything.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
and I'm not real big into Dolly to begin with, anyway. But
Wow,
so
you listen to some of her old stuff.
which songs?
absolutely.
All my single ladies, or what? Like 9 to 5.
Oh, 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd go 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. She, like I said, that the Beyonce, she did the cover of Jolene. It wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't for me.
It's not for me.
And it wasn't so much. I mean, like you said, her voice is great. She's got a nice voice. It's just the arrangement and everything. It wasn't what I really was.
Right. It's not
I
my
don't
style.
think. I guess not. I just I mean, nobody asked for that.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I'll always.
But I mean, that's what's hot. I mean, musically, like this country pop
Yep.
style, like that's hot. That's what
Yeah.
everybody's into.
sure.
So I can see Beyonce, like the biggest music star in the
Yeah.
world.
Well,
like
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift started country.
Yeah, and she's probably like, she's probably dethroned some of the other pop queens.
Well,
that we've
I
had.
guess she would be on top, but Beyonce is up there either
Yeah.
way.
Did,
to where it's like, okay, I have enough of a following. I'm big enough. I can just go try this country thing. If it works, it works. If not, oh well.
Absolutely.
I think Dolly, did she do Jolene at Super Bowl?
Oh, I think she might have.
Because if she
A
did,
long time ago.
I could see where Beyonce might be like, that's in the public sphere right now.
Yeah.
Some of these moves, I'm like, is this an artist expanding themselves, or is this a cash grab, or is it both? Because if you saturated like your dance hip hop demographic, you're
I think
looking
it's.
at country.
I think it would be both.
That is the uncharted territory.
So-
That's a whole different fan base out there. And if
For-
Jolene's in the public mind,
Sure.
well,
For me, here's what I'll say
and
about
Dolly
this.
made a deal too, but she got the writing credits on that song, which is good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and okay, part of me wonders if maybe this is an ongoing, like, part of this one of the strangest, like, I don't even know if I'd call it a feud, but in music history, is this Beyonce versus Taylor Swift kind of thing. I don't really, I mean, Kanye was kind of involved in that for a couple years or whatever, and it's so strange to me. And like you mentioned, like when Taylor Swift started out, she did a lot of country stuff, and then kind of switched to pop. So is this sort of like a Beyonce kind of like giving a quick little jab to like, hey,
Like,
I can do country too?
Right.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
And here's why. Here's my take on it. I will always welcome. I'll even give a little bit of slack to like the performance or the composition of a song when you take one artist who's mostly R&B or pop R&B and comes into like the country genre, especially when that person is also African American.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I just like to see that kind of amalgamation, that kind of like two different cultures, especially with the way the country's divided right now.
Right.
I like to see that kind of stuff where you have those two different cultures kind of coming together and making something
The
that's actually pretty
blending of
neat.
it.
Yeah, the blending of it. Because that's
right.
what really I think that's the society that I like to believe in. That's
Yeah, and I think that
So-
that
The old melting pot. Got it.
correct.
Right. I mean,
well, and that was probably a big driving factor behind them releasing that. That I would say probably 50% that and 50% cash grab, kind of like Nate was saying, just like
Yeah. And it could be the
we can make
trend.
some
It could
money
be a
off of
trend.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Or, like, look, everyone's going country now, so I better get my piece of the pie.
Well, where's
Yeah.
the Beyonce techno album? I want Beyonce doing Sandstorm.
I would be down for
covers.
that.
Well, okay, so
let's get her to DJ at Pizza.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you bring that up, and it somebody who kind of stays current, even if she's not super relevant, is Lady Gaga,
Yeah.
and she's kind of proven over the past maybe 10 to 15 years, however long, that she's she kind of started out in that dance electronica genre, kind of moved into more like poppy stuff, and then she even had that whole album Joanne that was more like it was all
Hey,
kind of
Nate,
singer-songwriter style.
Yeah.
I got something for you.
What you got? that bounce.
All right.
We're talking about Beyonce.
Oh, there you go.
Can you hear the Beyonce in it?
Oh yeah.
Get her in the background there.
Okay, yeah, I hear it.
Everybody report to the dance floor right now.
It's at who is it, Rob?
It's by Jack Back.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go.
Interesting.
Yeah,
There you
there's plenty of covers in techno for Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
actually one of my favorites.
Well, have you guys
Love me some
heard?
techno. Not a huge fan of country, but I love me some techno.
Have you guys heard?
Speaking my language, because I'm the same
new-
way. I love my techno, man. Not so hip on country.
Yeah, I like country. It just depends.
I like the old stuff.
I like 90s country.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I do like the 90s
Yeah.
country.
I can fuck with like trop rock. That's about as close as I can come to country a lot of the time. Little Jimmy Buffett or something.
Have you guys heard
Okay.
the new Billy Joel song?
Mm-mm.
No.
Oh man, the Piano Man still got it, man. And he hasn't really changed his style much. You know, we're talking about the whole Beyonce, like, you know, moving around. But it's just one of those, you know, you can turn it on, you're like, oh, it almost sounds like something off of The Stranger. Or, you know what I mean? Like it's,
Okay.
yeah.
Huh.
And
Turn the lights back on.
Turn the lights back on.
Yeah.
Is the name of the
Okay.
song.
And,
Yeah.
Matt sent it to me the other day, and I will admit, it brought me back to my childhood, because that's when growing up in the 80s, that's when he was kind of real big.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was huge. Yeah.
Oh, and the
So-
video, like, I didn't even, I had heard the song definitely multiple times. It's been out, I think, since February. And when I sent it to Rob, I found the actual music video, and I hadn't watched it yet. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. You know, it starts with him, current day. And then they kind of show him, like, through the ages, like, you know, back in the 70s and then 80s, and, like, changing his style. And
Yeah.
yeah, so.
You want a little piece of it?
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
get a
just,
little piece of it. Yeah.
just enough.
Please open the door. Nothing is different. We've been here before. Pacing these halls, trying to talk over the silence.
I mean,
Yeah.
And pride sticks out his
Oh, yeah.
tongue.
Yeah, he still
Laughs
sounds
at the
amazing.
portrait that we become. Stuck in a frame, unable to change. I was wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Digging it.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was
Oh,
pretty good.
it's-
It took me transport. I was like, oh, I haven't heard that voice in a long
Right.
time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I mean, you know, I say he hasn't changed much. Of course, he changed over the years, and you know, you got some of that. You know, you could hear the difference in the '80s and even the '90s when he did some, you know,
Right.
those few albums that he came out with. And still, one of my all-time favorite Billy Joel songs is "River of Dreams."
Mm.
You know, and that was, I think, like a late '80s, early '90s release.
did he sing that song?
That's the one in the middle of
He
it.
shall
I'll walking in the-
believe on. On a
That's
Christmas
Elton
Day
John.
in the New York Times. Oh, Elton John. Okay.
It's Elton John, and actually, that song was written about. Oh my gosh! Well, I can't think of his name right now. It's Levon, but I can't think of his last name from the band.
Huh.
You know the musical group, the band.
Right. Right.
No kidding.
He was actually good friends with Elton John back in the day, and that was kind of Elton John's inspiration for that song. Yeah.
Cool.
One of my
Those
favorite
two
songs.
toured together. I don't know if you remember that. You guys may have been a little too young for that, but my mom and dad,
Billy Joel and Elton John.
Elton
Yeah, the
John.
face-to-face
the
tour.
face-to-face
Yeah.
tour, my mom and dad, or my mom and my aunt, well, a bunch of my relatives went
Yeah.
to that. And it was like dueling pianos.
Yes. Yeah, that's
It was
essentially
fucking insane. I
Yeah.
would have given
That'd
anything.
be so cool.
Yeah.
Dude, I thought,
awesome.
looking back on it, I was like, man, I wish I was old enough to go to that and appreciate it,
Which-
because that would have been dope.
Right.
would be
Yeah, no
absolutely amazing, but probably takes a silver medal to the Daffy Duck, Donald Duck dueling pianos in Who
okay.
Framed Roger Rabbit.
Great.
If I'm ranking dueling pianos, that
You're
probably goes
probably
number
right.
one.
Yeah, but actual live performance.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you can't like. There's. I don't think any show would outdo that.
Yeah.
I never, unfortunately, I've never gotten to see it, but who knows? They could do another one.
Yeah.
They're still kind of
They're
still out there.
both with us.
Yeah.
If they do, we got to go.
Oh,
Pull
dude, I'd pay. I'd
Well,
pay good money
you'd have
see
to.
that. Oh,
Yeah,
no,
that'd be an expensive show.
They're
but I'd
not
pay
cheap
it, right.
tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think that's going to do it for episode 1 of season 3.
Yeah.
For those out there, stay tuned on YouTube. Pick us up on any place, any platform where you get your podcast.
Yes.
We got big moves coming this season. Our next episode coming out in a couple of weeks is going to be dinosaurs. So we're going to be getting into some of that stuff.
Talking
I'm
about
kind of looking forward to that because there's a lot there.
Also, look for yours truly on One Beer at a Time.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to the One Beer at a Time guys.
Yeah, which is our sister show from our production company, Culture Copia Productions. So
Yeah. We went out to 9 Mile Garden here in St. Louis just this afternoon, right before this episode, and tasted some beers and stuff out there. I think we may have switched Matt to an IPA guy now.
It was a lot of fun, man. Honestly, I was able to step in as kind of like a guest host and sample some beers and just kind of hang out and had a good time. Oh, they're good guys and it's a good show. So definitely check it out. But make sure you check out Culture Copia CC podcast on all, like Rob said, all major platforms, including YouTube now.
Yeah.
So we've done it now.
We're getting out there.
It's the big time, baby.
Yeah.
Making money moves.
That's what we do.
All right, guys. We'll see you later.
All right, Tupac lives. Woo woo.